Hey guys, welcome. Today's practice is really for those days you're just feeling low energy, physically tired in your body, but you know that it would still be helpful to move a little bit. Sometimes that little bit of movement we know can really shift and transform how we feel in general. All the poses will be either sitting or lying down, so we'll still get to move, but kind of give ourselves a little bit more support for when we need that energetically. You will want to have something to use for a strap. That might be a belt, a scarf, a regular yoga strap if you have it. And then for the seated poses, if you want something to sit up on, a block is great, or even you can grab a throw pillow or two from your couch and use that to give your hips a little bit more height. Okay, and then just take whatever cross-legged seat feels comfortable to start with, maybe a little height under your hips. Bring your hands down to your thighs, close your eyes. And then do this, just turn your palms up. Sometimes it can be nice, it's a simple gesture to open up saying, I'm ready to receive a little bit more energy to start to take that in. And then to wherever it feels like it's the right place, sit a little bit taller. We know sometimes when we're tired, energy is low, treatment's been really hard on our body, we can start to get that a little bit more hunched in posture. Sometimes just taking also a few moments to line up our spine, sit tall. Again, invite the energy to move in a little bit freer. And then with that tall seat, draw shoulders back. Just give yourself a little bit more room for breath there. Notice where your breath is at right now. Before you even change anything or shift anything, just take a moment to pay attention to it. And then we're going to make one more little simple shift here. Start to let your inhale breath get just longer than your exhale breath. It might just be a count or two. Sometimes it even does really help to count it. And so you can inhale to 4 or 5 and exhale to 3. Might feel a little different at first, that's okay. But the inhale side of our breath is the energizing side, the more dynamic side. So when we're feeling a little tired or run down or just energetically really low, there are simple shifts we can make in our body and our breath without having to move the body a whole lot. Respect and honor where we're at, but make tiny little steps in the direction that we want to go. And if it's helpful, you can keep this just a little bit longer inhale breath throughout the practice. If at any point it feels like it's too much, just let it go. Just take a couple more like that. You might even find they get a little bit longer with the more attention that we pay to the breath. And then just gently open your eyes. Keep that rhythm of your breath. Grab your strap or belt or scarf, whatever you have. And then you're going to start with your arms out pretty wide. We'll be able to adjust if you need it as we go. Anchor down through your seat. Stay tall up through your spine. And with your inhale, reach both arms up. And as you exhale, take your arms behind you. You might hit a point of resistance. You can always take your strap out a little bit wider to let your arms come back. And with your inhale, bring both arms up. And exhale, come on all the way back around. And so adjust the length of the strap. You might need a little bit shorter. You might need way longer to wherever that one point of resistance is. And then just move slowly with your breath. You can keep eyes closed if that feels good or soft. If you meet that resistance point and it really feels like you're just straining, give yourself a little bit more length. Right? The idea is just a little bit of movement, a little space in our bodies, but not necessarily having to really force push anything. not that we ever really want to do that, but just especially when we're feeling a little tired or run down. Good. Take 2 more full rounds. And just match the movement with breath. Reach up to inhale. Come all the way back around. That's usually where that sticky place is as you come around. And then one more time all the way forward. And just set your strap, your belt, whatever you've got off to the side. Bring your hands back to your thighs, sit tall, and take a couple big rolls with your shoulder. One direction, and then the other. It might feel like you've already created just a little bit of space there. It's one of my favorite ones today. I feel like I could do it every day. All right, come on back to center. Root down through your seat. Inhale, reach both arms up overhead. And that might be arms out wide like a V. That might be arms a little bit more straight up overhead, wherever your range of motion is today. And then as you exhale, bring your left hand down to your mat. Stretch your right arm up and over. So big side body stretch. And we'll take it a little bit with breath to start. Both arms up, inhale. And then to your right, exhale, reach your left arm up and over, but stay anchored through your seat. Let that be the foundation. Both arms up and over to your left. And just match wherever your breath rhythm is. It might be a little different from where my cues are. Arms up and side bend to your right. And bring both arms back up to center. And this time as you come over to your left, stay. You can stay up on fingertips. You can even bring hand to a block for a little bit more height. Or if it feels like you have a little bit more room, walk your hand further away from your hip and reach your top arm up and over. And stay heavy through your right hip. Maybe even nudge your left shoulder forward just a little bit if it feels like it's ducking all the way back. And take a couple full breaths into that space all along your side body, underneath the armpit, shoulder. And then use that strength. Inhale, come all the way back up. Exhale, side bend to your right. So same thing, you can stay up on fingertips, use a block if you want a little bit more height, or crawl your fingertips just a little bit further away. You don't want to come so far that the whole left hip lifts up, and keep your seat rooted down. Just enough space so you can really start to lengthen out through your side body. Maybe if the right shoulder feels like it's dipping back, just nudge it forward a little bit. And then feel like you could direct breath all along that side. Sometimes just attention and breath and movement there, as we start to create space, can really shift how our body feels. Come all the way back up, reach both arms up. As you exhale, twist to your right. And we're going to take it again, a little bit of movement with breath. Both arms up, inhale. And then twist to your left, exhale. So left hand behind, right hand to your thigh. Both arms up, come back up to center, wherever that feels best for you. And then exhale to the right. And so think more about keeping your arms strong and engaged than necessarily having to bring them all the way up or together. Inhale. Exhale, left. Come back to center, big breath in. And then exhale to your right. This time stay. And so right hand behind you, left hand to thigh. You can do the same if you want a little bit more height underneath your hand. It can be especially nice if your hips are a little bit higher to give the hand a little bit more height. And then turn your left hand so the palms facing up. This gives you a little bit more space in your shoulder there. Stay anchored through your seat. And sit tall, so lengthen all the way up through the crown of your head. Let's give the spine a little bit more space for the twist. And roll your right shoulder, right ribs back. And even as we hold, we can find that little bit of a rhythm with your breath. Inhale to lengthen up through your spine. And then exhale just to settle a little bit more into your twist. It may not be huge motion in either direction. Sometimes it feels almost as much of like this energetic lengthening as it is physically. And come back to center, reach both arms up. And exhale, twist to your left. So left hand behind you to the floor, to a block. Turn your right hand open. Stay heavy through your seat, tall through your spine. And then twist, left shoulder, left ribs back. Take your gaze wherever it's comfortable. Sometimes it feels like a lot to take your head all the way back. And take it just off to the side or even keep it a little bit further forward if that feels like the right place. And start to notice where energy's at now. Notice just that little shift in movement in our body. We create space, we breathe, and just start to change how we feel. Like the change can be bigger than when it feels like the amount of effort that we're putting in. We're just seated, a little bit of activity with arms and shoulders. We can shift body and mind as well. Inhale, unwind, bring both arms up. Exhale, bring your hands down to your thighs. And then just walk your hands forward a little bit so they're more towards your knees. We'll take a little seated cat-cow here. As you inhale, arch your back, tilt your chin up, not throwing your head back, but just a little tilt of the chin to create space at the front of the throat. And then exhale, chin to chest, round through your back, press your hands down and forward. There's that little bit of extra engagement there. And inhale, rock your pelvis forward, arch your back, lift your chest, tilt your chin just slightly up. And then exhale, round in. And press your hands down and forward, round your back, draw your chin towards your chest. Move with your breath. Inhale, exhale. And go nice and slow. Inhale, come forward, arch your back, lift your chest, draw shoulders back, chin up. And then exhale, round in. And so feel that movement maybe through low back, maybe a little bit more through rocking of pelvis, or maybe you notice it most in your shoulders. Just taking the spine through all of its different ranges of motion. We know sometimes when energy is a little lower, we're just laying down, sedentary a little bit more. We just don't get the movement going. And this can be a great way to do that while still just letting your body rest and restore and recover without having to exert too much energy to find those little shifts. Good. And then come back to center. Anchor your seat, sit tall, draw your shoulders back. Is there any little change from just where we started? And we're going to come to lying down on our side before we come all the way down onto our back. This one's kind of a fun, different one. So you can watch first if you need to. I'm going to come to lay down. If you want some more support under your head, a block can be really nice there. If you feel like you don't need that, head all the way to the ground. That's fine too. Or the pillow, if you're just sitting on a pillow, that can be nice for a little bit more support there. So I'll start with knees bent, but where your legs are really less important. We'll get particular with arm placement. I'm lying on my right side, and my right arm is straight out. It's a shoulder, elbow, hand in one line, and then place my left palm on top of that. And then we're just going to slide the arms with breath. So as you inhale, slide your left palm all the way along your inner right arm, along your chest to your left shoulder, and then all the way out behind you, look up. And as you exhale, slide your arm back, shoulder or chest, shoulder, inner edge of arm to your hand. And inhale, slide back. And so as you slide back, chest will roll up in a little bit. You can look up towards the ceiling. And as you exhale, slide it back. Left shoulder, chest, right inner arm. And move with your breath. Inhale, slide back. It might take a couple rounds just to get the coordination. And then exhale, slide it back. Take two more here. Inhale to open it up. And then exhale, slide back. Last one after this. And then once you have both palms stacked, just take a breath. And I'm just going to move to the other side. You can roll right over, or you can turn around this way if it's helpful to still see whatever screen that you're looking at. Right, head down to your mat, head to a block or to a pillow. On my left side, left arm straight out, shoulder, elbow, hand with your palm facing up. And then place your right palm on top of your left. And with your inhale, start to slide, right arm along, inner left, along your chest, along your shoulder, open it all the way up so your arm's behind you. And then slide it all the way back. And just match the length of the movement with that rhythm of your breath. And inhale, slide back. When the arm comes behind you, you might hit just kind of a natural stopping point. That's great. Come to that point as long as there's no pain. If there's just that sensation and stretch, great. Again, let's take 2 more rounds. Just want to come to that place that maybe it feels like if there's this where it's feeling a little sticky or less flexible right now. I'm going to meet that edge, not necessarily push past it, but just come to it so that we can start to create a little shift, a little bit more space there. And last one. Both hands come together again, take a breath. And then from here, we'll come to lying down on our backs. So you can keep your block or your pillow nearby if it feels better to have that underneath your head at any point for a little bit more support or just a little softness. You are welcome to do that. You're going to start here with legs out straight, long on your mat, and then reach both arms up overhead. Right, and I'll give you a few different options here. We're all going to have very different range of motion in chest and shoulders, especially if you're dealing with active treatment here or surgeries. So you might come with arms out a little bit wider, more like a V shape. You might come with arms straight up overhead, parallel to each other, or you might take a hold of opposite elbows. Okay, and then from wherever you're at, you're going to walk your heels over to the right side of your mat. And slide your upper body over to the right as well. Arms might be a little wider, a little narrower, or hold elbows. But you do want to keep your left side body down. So left hip down, left shoulder down. So just like that seated side bend, we're trying to get a little bit more length from the hip to the armpit or all the way up into the tricep. Right? If arms are a little bit wider, great, you can keep them there. Just see if you can reach up and over a little bit more with your left arm. It might not move much, but again, even just energetically sending in that direction, you might get just a little bit more awareness all along the left side body. The other little adjustment you can make here too is to stack your left ankle on top of your right, and that'll give you a little bit more space there. Stay active through your arms. And keep your feet flexed so your legs feel a little bit engaged. But at the same time, can you let your back body just soften down to the mat so that you feel really supported in the stretch here? And that while there's a little bit of engagement through the arms and legs, you're not having to over effort to exert energy when there might not be a lot to give right now. And then unwind, come on back to center. And we'll just switch sides. So take heels over to your left. And whether arms are wide, narrow, or take a hold of elbows or forearms, you can scoot your upper body over to your left as well. So it's just a big crescent moon shape lying down. Stay a little active with your arms. So if you're holding elbows or forearms, you can traction those away from one another. If your arms are up overhead but not touching, again, just reach out a little bit more through your right arm. It might be up, it might be like you're trying to reach over to your left hand. It doesn't have to get there. Likely you'll still already feel that space along the side body. And maybe stack right ankle on top of left. With a little bit of muscle engagement also soften your body down towards your mat. Also starts to teach our body, I think, that we can have a little bit of engagement, but also a little softness. Where can we hold our body upright but find rest? Where can we find some stretch, some space, some opening without a huge amount of exertion for the days that we need that? And then unwind, come on back to center. Take a full breath at center, feel that space. And then as you exhale, bring your hands down to your mat by your sides. And so you're going to keep your legs active here. You can have feet together. You can have them a little bit wider if that feels better. But flex your toes. And just so you're curling your toes back towards your body and press your heels down. Again, it doesn't have to be a huge amount, just a little bit of engagement. And with your arms down by your sides, press your palms down. And with your inhale, reach your right arm up and start to move it back overhead. And so you might come right a little bit in that direction. It might come all the way behind. Come to where that stopping point is, that end range of motion, but not pushing way past it. Okay, so right now, right arm up, left arm still down. And then we're going to move them both at the same time. Inhale, both arms come up, right, straight up from the shoulder. And then exhale, left arm back up overhead, right arm back down by your side. A little coordination with right and left side. Inhale, both arms up. And then exhale, left hand down, right arm up and overhead. Right? If that's a little bit along the way, if that's up overhead, might very well be different side to side. Great. Both arms up. Left arm back, right arm down. See if you can coordinate that end point at the same point with your breath. Arms up. Switch sides. And a few more, your breath. Both arms up. Right hand down by your side, left arm up and over. Or if you've come to a different place with your breath, just follow that. Both arms up. Right arm back, left arm down. Good. Let's do last one just to balance out the sides. Both arms reach up, straight up towards the ceiling. And then left arm back, right arm down by your side. And then just bring your left arm all the way back down by your side. Let your shoulders rest back. And just for a breath or two, just really let your legs relax. So let it all go. Okay, one more. This time bend your knees. Take your feet out just a little bit wider. Let your knees rest together. And then reach your right arm up and overhead. If it doesn't want to come all the way overhead, bend your elbow, just let it kind of rest out to the side. That's fine. Anywhere we can roll a little bit to your right side. And then reach your left arm up. Turn your thumb so it points back towards your feet. Bend your elbow. And then your hands either going to come into the side of your hip, into your low back, or up along your spine, maybe even up in between your shoulder blades. Anywhere along that range of motion. And then roll back down onto your back. So your palm is pressing down into the ground. The back of your hand is pressing into your back or just off to your side. And then you can bring your right arm out wherever it's comfortable, maybe out to the side, to your belly, whatever works. Keep your feet wide, let your knees rest together. And just let the weight of your upper body settle back onto your hand. Allow your left shoulder to drop back. If you want to add on a little bit more just movement along the side of the neck here, you can start to move your right ear over towards your right shoulder. I'm still looking straight up towards the ceiling. I didn't turn my nose one direction or the other, just to create a little bit more length along the side of the neck. We're so connected, the muscles of the neck and at the top of the shoulder, that sometimes it's nice to get into a place that works both of them. And just take a couple breaths. Just check in amount of sensation in your left shoulder. You want to feel it. You want it to feel effective, but not where you're pushing past where that endpoint is again. How can we find the place where we come to it, but not past it? And you look at it as if you're honoring where your body's at today with just a gentle little encouragement at that space. As we come right to it and then just breathe, it's naturally going to create a little more space. If you moved your head, just bring your head back to center. Roll just a little bit to your right, unwind your left arm, and then cross your arms in front of your chest. Give yourself a big squeeze across the front. And then switch sides. So you're going to reach your left arm, might be up overhead, it might be a little bit more out to the side. Just depends where range of motion is there. So roll to your left. This time reach your right arm up, turn your thumb back towards your feet, bend your elbow, and then hand's going to come off towards the side of your hip, low back, or just snuggle it up somewhere along your spine, and then roll back onto your back. Bring your left arm wherever it's comfortable. And then you can keep your feet just like this, feet wide, knees together. If you want to sneak in a little hip opening here, since this is really upper body focused, you can take the soles of your feet together and knees out wide in butterfly. If that feels like a good choice in your body today, or stay here, constructive rest pose. That's a really nice one for creating space in your low back. The butterfly creates a little bit more space in hips and inner legs. Okay. And then if you want to try the neck stretch on this side, just scoot your left ear over towards your left shoulder. So you're still looking straight up towards the ceiling. A little bit more of that length right down the side of the neck. And let your upper body settle back. Let your right shoulder get heavy. Just be mindful again, amount of sensation here. Where's that end range of motion today? And where is it this side versus the other side? Just notice. Couple more breaths. And then bring your head back to center. If your knees are wide, you can use your left hand and just start to help the legs back to center. Roll a little bit to your left. Unwind your right arm. And then give yourself a hug across the front. And from here, roll onto your left side. Press yourself back up to sitting. And then sit up again where we began. So if you're up on a block or a couple of pillows to start with, do that again. This time though, take the opposite leg in front. We tend to have a way that we always sit, so balance it out a little bit. And then when you're ready, sit tall. And just gently squeeze in between your shoulder blades to draw shoulder blades back. Turn your palms up. Settle through your seat. And just come back like we did at the beginning to that sensation of your breath. A little bit longer inhale. A little bit shorter exhale. You don't want to feel like you're retaining the breath or short of breath. It's just a slight shift in that length. We'll take a few moments here today just with that breath attention instead of in Shavasana. Right? Since we're working that to bring in a little bit more energy, a little bit more space, but instead of lying down to end seated, sitting tall, open to breath. Notice any little shifts in body, any little shifts in how much energy you have. It might just be little. or just shifts in your mood or your mindset. When the physical body's feeling low energy or dragging down, can do the same for our mind. And how does just some simple supported movement maybe, hopefully, start to create some of those shifts? And bring your hands together at your heart. Lift your heart to your hands, bow your head to your heart. And to yourself, to your practice, take a bow.